It may look like the sun going into its shell, creating a bigger gap in the long walk to the provision of decent and affordable housing. But in reality, a ray of hope within the dark tunnel is spreading a sunshine of decent housing over the heads of millions of Nigerians.
Government is doing well in this direction.
This is coming to fruition through the tentacles of the renewed hope agenda. The seed being sown here by Mr. President is on the heels of a harvest, the harvest of the renewed hope cities and estates. This is an example of the magic wand of the hope for the hopeless, a movement championed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Shelter is a necessity. It's a human right. And we're here just to do that. Set the record straight. From this site, granite seller we eat. From this site, water seller we make a living. From this site, nail sellers, carpenters, all those, roof makers, we make a living. Brick and mortar, we stand the test of time and bring a glory of Nigeria brighter than we met it.
The flip side of the presidential inauguration of the renewed Hope City in Karsana, Abuja, the wheelbarrows, shovels, and hundreds of hands engaged. A chain of value addition concretizing the journey to the creation of 1 million jobs.
Before I know they get work like that, but now as we start this project, we get on of work and we are working, we get enough money to feed our family.
Under the first phase of the renewed Hope Cities and Estates program, 1,000 housing units will be built in each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, while 500 will spring up in the estates. Leading the team responsible for the delivery of this housing project is a seasoned housing administrator who came, saw, and conquered.
Immediately we assumed office. Less than 3 months, he approved 100 billion naira for housing under 2023 supplementary budget. That is one area which I know that that uncommon will, political will, for him to achieve that. With the approval of 100 billion naira for supplementary budget in 2023, just 3 months into our appointment of me as a minister, me and my Minister of State, we ensure that with the directives that 50 billion should be dedicated for renewed hope housing, and another 50 billion should be dedicated for national slum upgrade and urban renewal. The renewed hope housing agenda was to ensure that cities were created out of many cities. We are now planning to ensure that we create at least 6 cities within the country, 1 in each geopolitical zone of the country, of at least minimum of 1,000 housing units. And then we call them renewed hope cities. And then we are also creating the renewed hope estates in the remaining 30 states of the Federation. This renewed hope estate is comprised of 500 units of bungalows of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom housing units. This 1, 2, and 3 bedroom housing will ensure that they are organic. They can transmit from 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom. If you can't afford 3 bedroom, you buy 1 bedroom that you can convert into a 2 bedroom over time, and at some time it can be into 3 bedrooms. For the cities, we want to ensure that we decongest the city centers and create more cities outside the existing cities. That's why we have 6 cities out of that. And the third one, the other one you're asking about, the slum upgrade. to ensure that we identify areas where there are a lot of slum, to ensure that we improve the living conditions of those people in terms of roads, drainages, sanitation, hygiene, and even other facilities that are very much needed by these cities. And that's why the 50 billion naira that was given to us, we're able to create 2 states. We pick 2 states for each geopolitical zone, making 12 states. Currently, these sites have already taken off. The contractors have been mobilized. They are already on site. Our work is ongoing.
We are trying to do as much as we can to make sure that people they have the opportunity to have affordable and accessible housing for them to live. And this mandate is given to us by the Mr. President, Tinubu, GCFR. And we are able and we do all our best to support him, to support Nigerians, to make sure that they are able to have that affordable housing over time.
That's not where the progressives plan to shed their sword in the crusade against inadequate and unaffordable housing. Series of other initiatives, with the 11th meeting of the Federal Executive Council, hatching a new approach to end difficulties in funding the process of owning homes. ₦20 trillion is expected to be the starting capital of the pool. This is expected to gang up with several initiatives being floated by agencies and their partners, dishing out huge opportunities for the men in search of a decent habitat.
The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration's focus on housing is premised on some critical elements that would propel economic growth in the country. Number one is that the administration intends to turn the country, in the words of Mr. President, into a major construction site. What that means is that housing construction should be everywhere in Nigeria, so that you are able to generate employment, which is one of the critical focus of this government, to generate employment, to lift 1 million Nigerians out of poverty. By creating a lot of economic activities around housing construction, you are going to be able to achieve this. The
consortium of developers have decided to go into a relationship with the federal government to collaborate on the delivery of 100,000 housing units nationwide. Ordinarily, if the government were to undertake this responsibility, the task will run into trillions of naira. But the government's role is to provide the enabling environment, the required support, reduce bureaucratic and red tapes, and allow the private sector collaborate with government to deliver houses for Nigerians. And that's exactly what the leadership of architect Ahmed Dangiwa is doing. And that's really the core mandate given to the consortium of developers.
The Abraham Maslow's theory of needs, however, keeps the man with a decent home going for comfortable commuting. Bearing the brunt are more than 36,000 kilometers of roads in the kitty of the federal government. These spreads across the 6 geopolitical zones, huge part of which undergoes rehabilitation and reconstruction. Exciting again is the choice of a seasoned civil engineer, keeping at bay the throwers of spiders in the works. The master planner began with an overall assessment of the ongoing construction and rehabilitation, with lots of knocks on poor delivery.
There are a lot of things I noticed in the contract administration. Like there is this issue of CPI, Consumer Price Index. And it has to do with, foreign exchange differentials. And we contractors claim that in a contract that is in Naira, that they can make claims if there is, movement of Naira to dollar. I found it very, very strange. And I made it very clear in the ministry that it will not work again. Any contractor who will not accept that position should go. The second one is the way variation on prices were being, claimed. That is VOP. For me, the claims were not correct. We came across very funny designs. In a place you have very high water table, and then you are using asphalt to do it. And, we said no. When you have very high water table, asphalt is not good for such projects. And then contractors stay on projects. Even projects that are funding, they stay there for a very long time. Every year they make VOP, they review the project. That is not acceptable to me.
A sustained interface with series of reviews of contracts has saved billions of naira for the nation in a single project. This sends the signal that a new sheriff is in town. Many of projects imbibing the works of the snail, like the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway, getting a new lease of life.
The truth is that Beja cannot finish that project on their own, even in the next 4 years. A lot of the sections that are bad, are a source of insecurity, to our people. After visiting the projects and Beja complaining that they can't finish the project within the expected time, so what we've done is to unbundle the project. And so the first 38 kilometers by 2, which is 76 kilometers, we said, look, Mr. President, you don't like tax credit, but please, you have to do it for us. So a memo is before him to approve that Dangote and High Tech should do that section, the what section of the project, on concrete pavement.
Works are progressing in even the most difficult terrain in Nigeria's commercial hub. One of the critical bridge that links the mainland to Lagos Island has been begging for a national overhaul. When the Hope for the Hopeless movement came, with the Midas touch, a vibrant black and white takes the air.
The Senate President is about to unveil the plaque signifying the official opening of the Apapa Oworo-Shoki Ojota Lagos Expressway, as well as the third mainland bridge.
That project was designed for a dead load of asphalt of just 2 inches. But we saw that, over the years, there were, a number of several, rehabilitation whereby you just come and put asphalt on asphalt. And so you have over, 12 inches of coated asphalt on top of the top mainland bridge. And that was a very serious dead load on the bridge. We noticed some of the sections had deflected. We are working on it now under the deck. We have to remove the dead load from the bridge. And so we went about to mill out everything. It was quite a huge work. And then we now put back the design load, which is 2 inches asphalt on top of that. So we repainted some of the concrete, pavement items on this, and then we put solar lights. Now we are putting CCTV.
But the icing on the cake was the commencement of the 700 kilometers Lagos-Calabar and Coastal Highway, which has been in the coolers for donkey years.
The deal is done. The dream is realizable. Set on a journey, determined to build a nation of prosperity. Embark on bold endeavor so that your country can be successful.
And a follow-up of a cheerful news of the approval by the Federal Executive Council of the commencement of the Sokoto-Badagry Highway.
This one is going to dwarf every other legacy you ever will see any African leader, achieved. And so they've seen that and they're not happy about it. And so they threw all kinds of spanners, on the way. But for us, our eyes are on the ball. And so this is not a dream of today. Mr. President, when he was governor of Lagos State, dreamed about this. Lofty ideas, where you have 10 lanes, where you have a concrete thickness of 275 millimeter, where you have a train track at the middle of the road, where you have a filling of the coastal road, sometimes up to 6 meters height of some filling, and you have a solar light running all the way to 700 kilometers. You look at the same scenario is going on between Benin and Warri. The same scenario is going on between Lokoja and the Benin. And that section, let me announce that section that we had a 4 tanker, that we've isolated it and given it to BUA to do on tax credit. There are 3 sections of that between Lokoja and Benin, and Mr. President graciously approved it for BUA to do tax credit. And so within the next 1 week, we're going to show the social media what we've achieved of that, the intervention of Mr. President.
The major and a very important decision that this government has made. And for many of us who are engineers, we're excited, very excited, because by the time this road is completed, it's going to enhance economic development and reduce insecurity and criminality.
In the long run, put side by side, particularly again when you consider the terrain, the rigid pavement is a better option, which the design engineers have also chosen.
For those who took the trumpets to the public space crying foul on the cost of the project, a teacher schools them.
We realize that in so many ways this is perhaps outrageously cheap, you know. The average road either in the US or any part of the world quoted at 2 kilometers, you know, of the same width, it's above 4 billion. And we're talking of perhaps 4 lanes. And this design is 10 lanes. And I was like, why this noise? The minister had come out to say that a kilometer of 10 lanes is going to be delivered at 4.32 billion naira thereabouts. And that's less 4.5 million dollars. And we see in the UK, the US, Netherlands, South Africa, 4 lanes of 1 kilometer at more than $4 million. Some more than $6 million.
Done with the roads and bridges, it was time the renewed hope movement takes off citizens the daily pains of road commuting, which comes with a colossal pocket drain.
From Lugbe, where I used to live down here, I used to pay about 400 daily. Then I now relocated towards Maraba, Yanya area, and then I get to pay most times in the morning 800, 700.
600 naira per day, to and fro from New Caro to town and going back. But now I spend 1,400 every day.
And the presidential CNG initiative came in the nick of time.
Once you start to are requiring all of them to go on a common payment system. And that common payment system, we're going to monitor them to make sure that they're giving something back to the country. So that's going to enable the country to live in the life of the ordinary Nigerian. And the states where the PNG capacity are going to be deployed. In the universities and the states where we're going to deploy PNG buses or EV buses, we're going to offer to our partners also reduced cost. So the Nigerian will experience reduced cost of transportation cost, at least within the ecosystem of the 5,000 cycles and the 500 buses that will be deployed in the sector. But that is not innovation. What that will do is incentivize the other operators, because today the operators are making it at 40%, even sometimes 70% cheaper than diesel and petrol. There's an incentive now to say, no. Now we are also seeing that because of the pronouncement and mandate of the president yesterday, now all the federal agencies, all the MDs, are going to buy these buses, buying these vehicles, even status vehicles for the minister, for the team members, the directors, and I'm going to be on PNG. That means the demand for PNG is going to go up. That means there's more investment in PNG infrastructure at the last mile. That will mean there's more options for those who are using PNG. That means that most Nigerians are 50%, even sometimes 70% cheaper than diesel and petrol. There's an incentive now to move. Now we are also seeing that because of the pronouncement and mandate of Mr. President yesterday, now all the federal agencies, all the MDAs are now going to buy these buses, buying these vehicles, even status vehicle for the minister, for the...
And once again, the nostalgia of train travels in the air. This didn't come on a platter of gold, but a commitment of an economist with a penchant for the best. Aba to Port Harcourt rail service is up and running. Port Harcourt to Maiduguri stepping up, with Kano to Lagos on top gear. The progressives have also given all for the completion of the Kano-Kaduna tracks.
So we are going to be reintroducing freight traffic first from Lagos to Kano by latest June, because the vandalized track have been repaired and fixed. We have moved a train. One was passenger coaches without passengers as a trial run. The next other one was freight wagons without load on them, so as to try test the work we have done, how stable and ready.
The gains associated with the two eyes of the railway system open can only be a game of estimation, but for people where the tracks traverses, it's a new beginning.
This development came as a surprise to us. We are proud of it. But as usual, it came with some challenges.
One of the biggest beneficiaries of a functional rail system are businesses involved in import and exports, and making their operations easier at dryland ports springing up in major hubs.
From the two rail services, the narrow gauge, which has been in operation from the colonial days, that comes in from Lagos and into Kano, and then it goes to Funtua and also goes to Guru on the eastern side. That has already been in operation, and we are already properly linked. It's already in our facility, as you have seen it. It's already inside the facility. We have the 3 lines, if you have seen them there. And the cargo comes in, and we just yesterday, a train that came in from the area to test the integrity of the line, because they are about to commence freight operations from Lagos to Kano, came in and just left yesterday. And the other line, which is the standard gauge rail line, coming in from Lagos, into Kano, and then on way to Maradi. That is going to come in through our facility.
In this administration of
within the 365 days of the advent of the Renewed Hope agenda, the roofs are multiplying in thousands. Roads and bridges are becoming smoother and commuting cheaper and safer. This is the beginning of the quantum leap of the renewed hope, and the journey has just begun.